guys, welcome back to my channel and another video here. Today I have the next installment of the Color Series Redux collection, which this is just a revisiting of my series that I started 3 years ago, where I went through my whole collection, picked my top 10 from each color family, and just showed them to you and talked to you about them. And so what I'm going to do is, now that my collection has expanded a great deal, it has grown so much, I am just doing it again. And I'm not checking the old video because God knows I don't remember what I said 3 years ago. And I'm picking my top 10 as of now. And then I'm just kind of seeing how it compares to what I said before. So is there any overlap? What has changed? Things like that. Today we're doing purple, which means that this is like the final, like, I guess fun color. We'll do like blacks. I don't know if we're going to do white because I don't really have favorite whites, but like black's gray. And then I think I did toppers before, and then the Redux will be done. But yeah, let us hop right into it. And these are not in any particular order. I don't have the bottle. Usually I think I take the bottles out and I show them to you. I'm just going to show you swatch pictures because my drawers, if you've been watching my D-Stash diaries, are very jumbled, very disorganized, and I don't want to have to hunt down all these polishes. Also, I know I said top 10, but I think I have 12 purples here because purple has long been one of my favorite colors. And so just a couple more snuck their way onto the list. I hope you don't mind. So the first polish I have on my list is Essie's Tangoed in Love. Essie is not my favorite brand. I do have a few from them though where I'm like, I will never give you. Pry this from my cold dead hands, you know, like Chin Chili is one. I like Forever Yummy. Mint Candy Apple is another really good staple. Like there are Essies I absolutely love, and then I'm very meh about the rest of the Essies, and this is like one that I'm like, yes, I love this. Tangoed in Love is such a bright, beautiful purple. I don't know why, it kind of reminds me of like a candy color. Like it's a very artificial, like not found in nature type of color, at least not where I live. And it dries down, I don't recall if it's like full matte or like kind of like a semi-matte, kind of like a satin. You know how Zoya has like the satin finishes that are almost like, they remind me of like a soft touch cap or something. That's kind of how it dries down. I have worn it that way. I have worn it with glossy top coat. Formula is not 100. I will tell you that. That's most Essies though, at least before. The ones, because a lot of my Essies are older, previous to when they swapped to their wider brush. So that wider brush has helped a lot with the application. So maybe this one has like a little bit better of an application, but it also dries down a little quicker because mattes tend to dry a little quicker. So you just gotta have a little confidence when you're going in and applying this, but it is so worth it. The color is just bright. It's fun. Perfect for, you know, summer, which is coming up. When does summer start? Like, I don't know. It already feels like summer. It's already almost 80 degrees out here. So I don't know, but it is such a fun, pretty color. I feel like, you know, I've told you, like, there are some colors that just scream perfect for the toes. This is one of them, but it's great for your nails too. And if you love purple and you don't have this, you should probably check it out. The next one on my list is a really fun kind of alien tone color. At least like in my head, I look at this and I think of aliens. This is Zoya's Adina. And the purple, I'm looking at pictures to my left, I'm sorry. The purple that it flips to, because this is like a duo, I call them all multi-chromes, even if it's a duochrome, because 2 is still multiple, right? So it's a multi-chrome, I don't care. So it's like a multi-chrome that swaps from this kind of, not my favorite kind of purple to not my favorite kind of green, and yet together, I love them. It's got kind of a weird alien spring vibe. Alien spring. It's one I think I bought on a whim and like never really wore, and then one day I pulled it out and I was like, why have I never worn this? It's just really cool. I feel like it's really funky, so someone like me who loves weird polishes can really get into it, but the color tones are a little bit more subdued. Like I said, it kind of reminds me of spring, that green, that fresh green coming in, and then that light, more delicate purple, kind of floral. So it could be worn by someone who's not super like out of the box with their polishes either, even though this is a more out of the box polish. And I think that's something that's pretty rare to find. You know, you can't find, it's hard to find things that appeal to both people who love weirdo stuff like me and people who would rather not have any weird in their life at all. So I think this is a really good, like, it's like a middle ground. It's like the center of the Venn diagram. You know what I mean? It's perfect. I feel like this next one, it would be like illegal for me to not put it on my list. So it would be Orly's Synthetic Symphony, because this is everybody's favorite purple, isn't it? I feel like when Orly released this, they set a new standard for what a beautiful purple is, because this became like a must-have, like a cult classic, and they discontinued it. Very recently they discontinued it, and I don't know why. I haven't really heard why. I don't know if it's like a pigmentation issue. I wonder if they're going to do some kind of like re-promote later. I don't know. I haven't really heard. The only reason I even know it's discontinued is because somebody mentioned it in my comments that they can't find it on the website anymore. And I was like, oh, huh, maybe the sales were down because we all bought it. We all already have it, you know? This one's one of those that, like, it's my ideal kind of purple, like that kind of tone of purple, but then in certain lights it almost leans a little bit blue. So I guess that's probably part of the reason why I like it, because even though I say purple is my favorite color, but is it? Because I have so much blue. I'm literally like wearing blue right now. I can't escape blue for some reason. I'm like, I don't really care about blue, and yet everything I own is blue. So it's got like kind of a blue kind of undertone in certain lights. I don't actually know what an undertone is. I'm just saying words. But yeah, I really like this one. Everybody really likes this one. I need to, once my drawers are sorted, try to do like a dupe video so that we can kind of be like, do we, like, because I swear I have like 3 or 4 polishes that maybe they're not exact dupes, but they're so close that, you know, we don't have to be sad that it's gone. But I don't know, like we gotta get the drawers all aligned first. Next, I put BKL's Dumacorn, and this is not for everyone. This is a very sheer polish. Definitely needs like 3 to 4 coats on short nails to be opaque. If you want like any kind of opaqueness on longer nails, probably gonna need a blurring base. But it's just another one of those kind of beautiful multi-chromes. This one's very shimmery, very ethereal, very fairy-like. Swaps from this kind of pinky purple to a bluey green. And I remember this was one that I bought, was it 2 rewinds ago? 2 polish pickup rewinds ago, maybe? And this was a very popular polish when it first came out in polish pickup, and everybody wanted it. And so it came back in the rewind. And I kept seeing people talking about it and how it's like a must-have and it's a staple and you gotta have it or else your life has no meaning, kind of a thing. And so I was like, all right, I'll fall for it. And I bought it in the rewinds, and I was like, okay, I get it. Because sometimes especially with bee's knees lacquer polishes, I feel people are always like, this is the best polish and you must own it. And I look at the pictures and I'm like, I feel like it's not that, like, it's not bad, but it's not so interesting that I feel like I need to sell my soul for it, you know? And then I get my hands on ones like this and I go, oh, I get it now. Because the thing with, at least old BKL, I haven't bought anything since their rebrand, but with old BKL, I feel like, I'm not even saying like people don't photograph these well. I'm just saying like I think the pigments don't photograph with ease, and it's really hard to capture what it truly looks like to the naked eye, because it's just the nature of some of these pigments and the way they reflect light and stuff. So you really have to see them in person to get it. Is that a lot of justification to buy a little bottle of paint? Yes, but I've got nothing else going on, so I could do this all day. No, I can't. I have so much to do today. Next up, I have one from Cleona, and this is Gin and Tonic. And first of all, let me just say, I think that gin smells like kitchen cleaner, and I don't know how anybody drinks that stuff. And I also think tonic water is disgusting if it's not flavored. So it's just like, that's a whole mess of a drink that I will never ever try. This is from their, I think it was like the Mixology series, and this one was called like Patio Season. They did one for like fall or winter as well, and I think they've had another one since then, which I just haven't been keeping up because I have not been buying any polish, which feels weird, but PVE is coming up and that's gonna be fun. But this one, it's like this, again, kind of that purpley blue like I was talking about earlier. and they're like micro flaky kind of shimmer, all of that mixed in together. And I think it's got like a little bit of pink shimmery in there as well. This one is just a really fun, again, so it reminds me of gummy worms. They did do like a gummy worm themed trio, I think, but this one really does remind me of gummy candy. Actually, this whole collection kind of reminds me of gummy candy. I just really like gummy candy. I will eat any gummy. I don't like the cola bottle gummies. Those are weird. The other day I saw a 3-pound gummy worm and I was like, I bet I could eat that in one go. And then I was like, oh my God, imagine the acid reflux. That would be horrible. Anyways, yeah, this reminds me of gummy candy and that's why I like it. So, the end. Okay, next we have one from 3 years ago. Oh my gosh, this is the China Glaze Extra Stellar collection. This was like their kind of space alien themed Halloween collection. You guys know, maybe you don't, maybe I'll tell you right now. China Glaze, their Halloween collection is something I look forward to every single year. They're usually bangers. Like, there's only been one miss for me lately, and even that one, a lot of people ended up, they liked it. It just wasn't for me, which I'm not saying that my tastes are superior. I'm just saying it wasn't for me. But for the most part, I love a China Glaze Halloween collection. So this one was no exception, and this polish is called Purple Tonium, which, like, what a great name, what a fun name. And this one kind of reminds me of why I like Essie's Tangoed in Love, except this one has like a metallic-y kind of sheen or like shimmer running through it. And with a glossy top coat, it just looks, it reminds me of, you know, when you go, do you ever go to classic car shows? They're really big. I live in Detroit metro area. So like car shows and classic cars are big around here. There are times where you'll just see clubs driving down the road and everybody's driving a car from like 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, and they're all like up to date, beautiful. They look brand new. So some of those have like some of the most beautiful paint jobs on the outside, just super sparkly. The sun hits it just right. And that's what this type of purple reminds me of. It's like a classic car purple. You know, that just shimmery sheen that the sun hits it just right. And you're like, dang, that is something. You know, like this is my kind of purple. Next, we have another polish pickup polish. This is Vanessa Molina. It's Silencio Bruno. And I remember when I put this on and I was kind of like, oh, I don't know, because like, so the swatch photos, in some of the photos it looks blue, in some of the photos it looks purple, and part of that is because the flakies in the polish, they're these huge, massive, I think they are light blue, or like an aqua blue, and so they kind of make the color lean one way or the other. In my opinion, my polish looks purple with blue flakies in it. So I guess, you know, do what you want with that information. Everyone's like, it wouldn't be a color video from Hillary if half the colors weren't wrong, right? But this one, the flakies are huge, and they do sometimes require just a touch of manipulation because they are so big. So like I'm painting my nail, and if it like slides off my nail a little bit, I just kind of boop, 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 pop it right back on there and let it dry. But I remember the first time I wore this because put it on, and then I was like, I need to go get my mail because I love to get the mail. And I was like walking, it was very sunny, and I looked down at my nails and I was like, oh my gosh, this polish is so pretty. And I had to like stop and take a picture for Instagram, but it's just, I love flakies. So any kind of flaky bomb is probably gonna be on my list. And I don't think I really have anything else in my collection that I can think of off the top of my head that has flakies of this magnitude. I have Katie Shimmer's Rise Up has a lot of flakies, like it's flaky dense, but these flakies are like the size of your head. It's like the size of a frosted flake in the bottle. Like it's crazy. So can't get this one on like the first-hand market, but if you're interested, probably try the second-hand market. You might be able to find it. So this is Holo Taco's Purple Slushy, and this is part of one of her, 4 rainbow collections, because we had the original rainbow collection, which is what this is from, the light rainbow collection, which I was very like hit or miss with, the dark rainbow collection, which like 3 of the polishes look the same to me, and then she just released the rock candy rainbow collection, which I thought the marketing was very cute. I just like rock candy. When I was a kid, my dad used to help me set up jars to make rock candy, so I always thought that was fun. Kind of dark, but still vibrant, saturated purple. And I feel like I'm finally, like, I'm like 20 years behind the trend, but I think I'm finally liking holos. Specifically linear. I think linear holo, out of all the holos, I think linear holo is the best. I just like how ordered and organized it looks. I don't mind a scattered holo in a polish, but if I had to like rank them, linear holo, just to me, it just looks so much more aesthetic. That doesn't even mean anything, does it? It just looks nicer. It's nicer on the eyes. You know what I mean? I hope you know what I mean. I like this one because I feel like the saturation point on this polish color, it kind of reminds me of like a jewel. I don't know what jewel, because I don't know what jewels are purple. You know what? What jewels are purple? I spelled purple wrong. Well, there's a picture of purple tanzanite over here that kind of looks like that. So yeah, kind of looks like purple tanzanite, which I didn't know existed until just now. Okay, here's another really good purple, which I don't know why I say this in all the color. I'm like, ooh, this one's my favorite, because the whole point of the video is their favorites. This is, I think I got this from my very first polish pickup, and this one is DRK Nails Light Tricks. And I remember getting this in the package and being like, because when I first started shopping polish pickup, I was like a little nervous, because buying something that has like a really long turnaround, I don't know, it makes me feel like, oh, I want it now, you know? And so like paying $30, $40, $50 for stuff, and then you have to wait like a whole month to get it, you're like, oh, okay, like it's hard. But I bit the bullet, and I remember ripping open that little package and being like, oh my gosh, it's so worth it. The color on this, kind of similar to the Holo Taco, that kind of rich jewel purple, but this one has not as big as Silencio Bruno, but some big flakes in there. And I really do think this is probably to blame for my sudden, really aggressive obsession with flaky polishes and flaky bombs, because this, like the flakes in this, they're this really cutesy, like pinky purple that just go so well. It's not quite tone on tone with the base, but they, you know, they kind of blend in certain angles, and then they hit the light just right. You get this flash of this like jagged flaky pink, and it's so cool. So I really like this. I have a couple flakies from DRK, and they are wonderful. And they're the other flaky I can think of off the top of my head, it's called April, I think, and it's like a neon pink with some like slightly different pink flakies in it. So another like tone on tone flaky. So apparently I know what I like from DRK. Okay, this one's gonna get me called out for my lack of understanding color. I can already tell, but this is Color Club's Lucky Charm, and you again pry it from my cold dead hands. This is coming into the casket with me. I don't care. It is a multi-chrome, and it shifts. It kind of shifts like Adina, but like darker. So like, remember Zoya's Adina from like 400 years ago, because I've been talking forever. It's like that, but grungier. So it's like a deeper, darker, murkier purple, and like a more foresty, or maybe even just, I guess it's like a little bit more grassy. It's not so dark of a green. And they flip, you know, between each other, and then it has hollow glitter running through it, and it's scented, which you guys know is one of my favorite gimmicks, and it smells like Lucky Charms. And I knew I had to have this as soon as it came out. Do you guys know how much this polish costs from Color Club? $30. These are the special edition, like limited edition gold cap Color Clubs. They tend to release them, I think in like November, December time each year. I bought like a limited edition kit, I think, so I got like 4. So there was like this, I think it's Cyber Slick, which was like a blue multi-chrome. There was this one, there was like a green multi-chrome, I think. And then Okay, wait. According to this ancient Reddit post, I may have been wrong. So this ancient Reddit post that I just found says that they were $20 each, or you could buy this 4-piece kit for 65, which is what I bought. I remember I got a discount though, so don't worry, I didn't spend 65 on all these. But there was Lucky Charm, which it says it's marshmallow scented, but it's Lucky Charm scented. There's Black Magic, which was like a black to red multi-chrome. Cyber Slick, which was like a blue to purple to green multi-chrome, and All Wrapped Up, which was a like green to bronzy blue multi-chrome. So I got all 4 of those, but out of those 4, definitely Lucky Charm was my favorite. Now you can't get this anymore. It is out of stock. I don't know if they're ever going to bring it back. However, if you're like, man, I want that polish so bad, well, gee willikers, do I have a treat for you. Because Phoebe Moon, if you don't know, she's the owner of Moonshine Manny, which if you're here, you probably know. She does this really, really cool series of polishes that she mixes up, and it's called Project Dupe It, where she just tries to dupe popular or like really sought after polishes. I think that they're like, for the most part, discontinued polishes. And this is one that she did a Project Dupe It of. And not only that, it's only $13. Her polish quality is very good. I have several Moonshine Manis. I really like her polish. The only difference I think about this one, let's see. So she says that she used a light glazed donut scent instead because she preferred it to the Lucky Charm scent that she could get her hands on. And she used a really strong glowing multi-chrome pigment and 2 sizes of finer cut holographic gold glitters to prevent intense texturing and dulling that occurs in the inspiration polish shortly after applying. So she's got a really good dupe for it. I feel like it looks really, really similar, and it's only 13 bucks compared to the however much mine costs. So check her out if you are interested. We have 90 Lacquer Blackberry Banana. This is one from one of my favorite nail polish collections of all time. These are from the Smoothie Bar collection. They're these really bright, fun neons with black shard flakies. So I'm not a flaky hater. I love pretty much all types of flakies. I like metallic flakies. I like multi-chrome flakies. I like black flakies. I like white flakies. Iridescent flakies, it depends, but I will tolerate them in certain finishes. So this is like all like these black shard flakies. Some people, I feel like these are the ones that like people love or hate, is the black shard flakies for some reason. I've seen people say they feel like it looks dirty. For me, these ones kind of remind me of ice cream, or like, you know how like in like chocolate chip ice cream, like the chocolate chip is kind of like speckled throughout. That's kind of what it looks like. And so this purple version, just a really, really pretty purple. I really like it. And it has those black flakies in there that have a really good, bold contrast to the neon. And that's that. That's what I really like about it. This one might shock you because I feel like I don't put this brand on many lists, although I do enjoy this brand. This is Sinful Colors Let's Talk. These polishes, I think they're like $2 or $3. You know, maybe with inflation, they're like $9,000 nowadays. But when I bought this, I remember paying only $2 or $3 for it. And it's a metallic kind of gemstone purple. You can tell the types of purples that I really gravitate towards. It's not lavenders and lilacs. It's these, and it's not like a deep royal purple either. It's these really, really bright or jewel toned purples. That's what I like. And this one is that kind of jewel toned purple, kind of leans a little bit blue in certain lights, so you get the best of both worlds. I can't imagine that this one would be very easy to find right now. Sinful Colors, I know their parent company filed Chapter 11, and I don't know, I feel like they should have finished restructuring by now because it was last year. Joann's filed Chapter 11, and like 3 weeks later, they were like, okay, we're done, we figured it out. So I don't know. I don't really know what's going on with Sinful Colors, but it seems like they've kind of taken a back seat and slowed down a lot, which is sad because Sinful Colors was one of those brands that even though, I say even though they're drugstore, like as if drugstore is inherently bad. Drugstore is not inherently bad. It's just that a lot of times you get what you pay for. But even though these polishes were only a few bucks, you were getting really interesting collections, really interesting finishes, and they experimented a lot with stuff. So like the sneaker finish they did those like fruit ones with like Winnie Harlow, and then I don't know if they ever did anything with her ever again, even though she was like a brand ambassador, so that was weird. But yeah, I really like Sinful Colors. I like the accessibility of stuff like this because polish collecting, the way that we do it, can be very expensive as a hobby. I mean, every single polish being like $10 to $15, it can get very expensive and it can get out of hand. And I remember when I was younger and I couldn't afford indies, you know, I would buy these and I would buy Sally Hansen Insta Dries and like things that were in like the $2 to $5 range because that's all I could afford. I really hate when like finances lock somebody out of having a good time or lock somebody out of enjoying like a hobby with me. So I am grateful that we have brands that kind of span all price ranges. And I guess that's all I have to say about that. I don't know. I go off on these tangents and then I'm just like, where was I? But yeah, I don't think that you, for most, like, I mean, if you're into like yachting or something, you better be rich, right? Probably. I guess I don't know anything about yachting. But like for most hobbies, for people who are in like, you know, normal tax brackets like me, I don't think it's fun when there's like a buy-in that is so high that nobody can join. So it's like, I like to present stuff from kind of like all ranges of things because I want everybody to have fun. I want us all to have fun together. Oh, that was my whole list. Oh, okay. That was 12 polishes. So those are the 12 that I thought up when I was making my list. And let's just really quick revisit the 10 that I initially posted in my first video. And was there any overlap? So the first one on my list was Different Dimensions Neutrino, which was a multi-chrome. It was like one of the first indies I ever bought. And I didn't know at that time that there were like multi-chromes you had to layer over black. So I remember getting it and like, this sounds so dramatic, but I remember almost crying because it didn't look good on my nail and it just looked like so thin and sparse and it wasn't flipping. And I was like in college and I had just splurged and I like didn't have a lot of money and I was like, gosh, I just wasted so much money. And then I like did some research and I was like, oh, you have to layer it over black. So I remember going and buying a Sinful Colors black, which I don't know why this sticks in my mind, but it smelled so bad. It was not a good black polish. And I remember being like, oh, this is so cool. I prefer a multi-chrome that you don't have to layer because I don't want to have to remember things. But this one was on my list. I think I just destashed it. I think it ended up in my destash bin. I cannot remember. So, rip Neutrino. Next was Studio M's Vintage Vamp, which people tell me is pink. I've been informed it is pink and not purple. I think it's purple. I'm sorry, I think that's purple. Studio M is the Meyer brand. My little brother made fun of me once because he's like, why do you explain what Meyer is every time you refer to Meyer in a video? And I'm like, well, I don't know who is watching for the first time and isn't from the Midwest, but Meyer, for the uninitiated, is just a grocery store. It started in Michigan by Fred Meyer. And it's not the same as a Fred Meyer. That guy spells his name differently than our Fred Meyer. So I hope that was confusing. It's just a grocery store. It's kind of like Walmart, but better. And I said that once. I was like, it's upscale Walmart. And Rob got offended. People in Michigan, very defensive of Meyer. We hang out at Meyer's when we're bored. We just wander about. And that's just what we do. Always looking at the books and magazines. I remember when I was a kid, because I used to be 24/7 till the pandemic. So when I was in high school and college, you had nothing left to do. It's like 11 p.m. You're like, let's go walk around Meyer. Yeah, so that was the Studio M polish. Next we have Orly's Kelly's Solar Flare. I don't remember in my brain what this looks like, so I'm just gonna put up a picture. Next is Zoya's Adina, which overlap. Okay, we got some overlap favorites. I actually have a few overlap favorites on here, so that's good. That shows that my tastes haven't changed too much, but a lot of the purples on my list that are like newer, they're like indie, they're like polished pickup and like stuff that I wasn't buying before I started this series. Then we have Essie's Tangoed in Love. That's another overlap. Ice Cream Nails Blackberry Mousse. I'm not gonna lie to you, I feel like I was just filling a spot at that point because I don't wear those types of purples. I don't really wear light pastel purples. Now, I didn't destash this in my destash. Why did I say destash? What, destash? Is that how I said that? I didn't destash this in my destash video because I wanted to keep it because I like the bottle. But I'll probably never wear it, if I'm going to be honest. We had Color Club Lucky Charm on there, so another overlap. Sinful Colors, Let's Talk, overlap, so that's cool. All right. I had, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, so 40% overlap. And then the last two were Loud's Julia, which I don't really gravitate towards this. I like a metallic purple, but I feel like this one's just a tad too royal for me. And then Karaya Polish's Psychedelic Grape. I like the Karaya polishes that I bought. And there's a couple, like, right off the top of my head that I'm like, oh, I really love those. But Psychedelic Grape is probably not one of them. So I don't know why this one made it onto my original list. I didn't watch my video. I just opened the description box and was like, okay, there's the 10 that I listed. I used to be a lot better about my description boxes. Now I'm just like, no, I'm not gonna type in there. I don't know. There's so much to do and so little time. I feel like the older I get, the less time I have. So anyways, those were my top 12 purples. Let me know if any of them surprised you or if you were surprised that certain ones were missing. I just kind of do these off the top of my head. Like whatever comes to the top of my head, I'm like, that's got to be my favorite, right? Because I think about it like immediately. So yeah, let me know down in the comments your thoughts. Let me know your favorite purples that I should go check out, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.